Past 9.
The Radio Wemo Breakfast.
Time for some minimalist cooking with Jules Clancy from thestonesoup.com. She's back for 2011. G'day there, Jules. How you doing?
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, nice to see you once more.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, so it's been because last week was Australia Day. Once again, another opportunity to get with friends, enjoy some good food and whatnot, I'd imagine.
Absolutely.
And of course, we were just off air just talking about the weather and how it's been such a typical La Nina summer and how that's kind of affecting the crops. I know in Queensland, where they're about to have another tropical cyclone, that's really affected the food supply, tomatoes, capsicums and whatnot. So people are growing the stuff at home to keep the supply of good nutritious vegetables up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how's your tomato crop going, Glenn?
Not too bad actually. Bought in a Frankenstein tomato yesterday. It had it was a normal red tomato, but it had this an extension coming out the top of it. It's really interesting what you find tomatoes will naturally do, but you won't find them in the store because they
It's the shop, yeah.
because they look unnatural, and people I guess the sellers think that no one will buy them if they look too weird.
Yeah, absolutely. So they cull them out, and they can have the most amazing flavour as well. The kind of crazy looking ones.
Yeah, and tell you what, because it's been such a weird sort of summer, ended up going and getting a slow cooker. Just because it felt like that on the weekend. It felt like, even though it was warm, it was kind of a bit rainy, and a bit windy.
Yeah, you wanted to kind of hunker down.
Yeah, so finally have a slow cooker and cooked a whole chicken in it yesterday. Got home in the afternoon. This amazing smell throughout the house. I think it was Szechuan style. I wasn't the chef on this occasion. It's got to be said.
Okay.
But it was
Okay, so you're rating the slow cooker?
Absolutely, straight out of the packaging and into use immediately.
That's great. That's great. In the middle of summer, who would have thought?
Yeah. Hey, but the thing we're talking about this morning is really nothing to do with slow cooking. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This is probably quite fast.
It's fast.
Yeah. Fried eggs and losing weight.
Yeah, so I've read a couple of books over the last month or so on kind of diet, and one was a book called Why We Get Fat by Gary Taubes, who's an American guy who wrote like a really interesting, kind of quite controversial book about kind of debunking the whole kind of current nutrition thinking that we get fat because we eat too much and we don't exercise enough. That whole calories in you have to eat less than you expend. He kind of has it's very scientific and gone through a lot of different studies and pretty much proved that it's not the case. And that's we're trying to eat less and exercise more, and overall obesity is becoming more prevalent. So it kind of it makes sense that what he's saying is true. But yeah, so I've kind of been reading that, and then I was also reading a book called The 4-Hour Body by a guy called Tim Ferriss, another American guy. And he had lots of crazy experiments in his book. One of his was he got his dad to lose 10 kilos in 4 weeks by following this diet. And one of the things that Tim Ferriss really promotes is eating like a healthy breakfast. So kind of if you eat, he's kind of looked into the studies, and it's showing that if you eat a particularly high protein breakfast in the morning, it actually increases your body's natural metabolism. So you just burn more fuel naturally during the day. So I've started eating a lot more eggs in the morning, and it's great. I'm really loving it, actually.
You're feeling more energy?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A lot more energy, and my nails are growing faster, my hair feels nicer, and all that good stuff. So.
It's interesting. I saw a program about sleep the other day, and they were talking about what foods will enable a better sleep, and they were saying carbohydrates will help you sleep more, whereas protein will wake you up and keep you awake longer. So that's an interesting. So that makes sense. A bit of protein in the morning would really get you going.
Yeah.
Although
and when you eat a big bowl pasta meal, kind of you do get sleepy at the end. So that makes sense. Yeah. That's interesting.
Although maybe for the losing weight side of things, probably the carbohydrates in the evening not so good, I'd imagine.
No, they're not. So so that's the other thing that Gary Taubes focuses on. He wrote another book previously called Good Calories, Bad Calories. And which is super scientific, but it's all around. So one of the main things that regulates whether we store energy as fat or not is insulin, which is one of the hormones, and it regulates our blood sugar. So whenever we eat carbs in particular, that makes our blood sugar increase, and so our bodies naturally produce insulin to manage it. But when we've got insulin in our systems, we can only store energy as fat. We can't burn any of our fat stores for fuel, kind of thing. We can only store. So if you're eating a lot of carbs and your insulin levels are raised all the time, that means that you're storing fat all the time, which is not good. So I don't know if you've heard of like GI, that whole concept of glycemic index and blood sugar. So kind of he's supporting that theory that kind of the best way to lose weight is to not eat a lot of carbs or a lot of sugar, so you keep your blood sugar quite steady just with the food that you eat, and then you're not producing as much insulin. So it means that your body can go into fat burning mode, and it's actually using your fat stores for energy, and which is kind of how you lose weight.
Cool. So have you got some links to those books on the stonesoup.com?
Yeah, on that. Actually, I don't think I put the links. I put the names in there, but I'll pop the links up today. So if you just link to that post, Reclaim Your Waistline.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. So, I don't know, I was going to say, have you got a recipe for fried eggs? But that would seem a bit strange, isn't it? Just chuck up a couple of fried eggs into a pan and cook them, and then put some salt and pepper on them, or how you enjoy them.
It. So but I did actually write out a recipe for it, and I even did a little video too of me cooking fried eggs. So, if you haven't ever done fried eggs before, some people wouldn't have. So, there is a bit of an art to it, getting the kind of the heat right so that it cooks through without cooking too much on the bottom, but getting enough crispy bits on the white. So it's all there if you want to have a look.
And what are the different sunny side up? Easy over. What's the?
Oh, it's sunny side up all the way.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, the links to all that information is up on at thestonesoup.com. In fact, it's on the front page there at the moment. If you go and check that out, it's under Reclaim Your Waistline: 7 Ways to Enjoy Your Food and Lose Weight. Jules, until next week. Thanks very much.
Yeah, Glenn. See you next week.
See ya. Jules Clancy there, joining us in Sydney. Right now, here is a track from Miho Wada. This here is called Be My Girl, here on Kiwi.